Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Allmark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today we're going to do something fun with Fable Friends. Now, Fable Friends I absolutely love, and the reason why is when I was a little girl, I was given some Beatrix Potter books to read. Now these are, as you can see, very old. Beatrix Potter was an English writer and illustrator, and I've got The Tale of Benjamin Bunny, and if you look inside you can see, and I'm going to stand this up a bit so you can see the original drawings. So you've got Squirrel Nutkin, you've got Peter Rabbit, you've got the owl which says Squirrel Nutkin on there, and you've also got, let me have a look and see, I don't know whether it's in this one or this one, which is even older. You have got Jemima Puddleduck, and so I absolutely adored these books. These books were originally printed in 1909. There we go, 1909, and you can see little scribblings and things of when I was a very small child, and just beautiful illustrations and things. So when I looked in the catalogue and saw Fable Friends, I was like, oh my goodness, we have got Peter Rabbit, we have got Jemima Puddleduck, and we've got little Squirrel Nutkin. So I just absolutely love that. I know it's aimed towards the Easter market, but to be quite honest, anybody who adores Peter Rabbit, Beatrix Potter, any of the books will absolutely love this set. So what I wanted to do was, I'm making some little gifts for people, and what I have made is, let me show you the finished article, and then we can go back and have a look at it. So I have made some little 4x4 cards. I've put Peter Rabbit on the front with a little heart and love, and I've done that in Highland Heather with just a little bit of Wink of Stella on it, because I thought that was rather sweet. And then inside we have got Jemima Puddleduck, so I've got a couple of her. Coloured in the traditional colours, so the blue hat and the pink little cape. And then I've got a Squirrel Nutkin with his little sailor's outfit on. And then we have two Peter Rabbits in there. So they're just little 4x4 note cards. And I've decided that I didn't want to put anything on the ones inside, because I thought that they would be nice as little note cards, because I have quite a few friends who literally just like writing little notes to people. So rather than putting a specific sentiment on there, I thought I'd leave it as it was. So I'm just going to finish the last one of this, but I thought I would come on and show you what I did with this. So the box itself, I'm going to take out a sheet so that you can actually stop the camera and see on there. Let's make sure we're in. Yes, we're exactly where we need to be. So the box itself is 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. So a standard piece of A4 in the UK is exactly 8 1/4 inches in its width. So you're literally just going to cut it 8 1/4, 8 1/4, and you're simply going to score it at 1 inch and 2 inch on all sides. So score it down 1 inch and 2 inches. That is your lid. The base is 1/8 of an inch smaller, so 8 1/8 by 8 1/8. And scored at 1 and 2 on all sides. That gives you a reinforced box. So when you've actually scored it, you are going to cut up on all of the sides, on 2 of the sides, just straight up, and then on the other side straight up, so like this. And then you are just going to take this piece out of the side. So we'll do this little bit together. And which isn't easy for me to do on the light. So you cut up the first 2 score lines like that. Then you cut along one piece and then up on the other. So you basically have a little L shape that's cut out. Like that. Okay, so you've done that on all sides. Then you are going to just wedge this piece in. Wedging it helps when you close the box for it to be a little bit neater round your edges. So you just wedge those two pieces out like that. And then just cut a little piece of the bottom like that. Okay, so that's basically what you do on all sides. You then fold and burnish, and I'm only going to show you on one side. So you fold and burnish it in like that, and then you are going to put the pieces together like that. Those pieces go inside, and you've got yourself your box. Very simple and easy to do. And as I say, if you have a look across on my blog, I will have all of the dimensions of things over there for you. Okay, so then that's the base of our, or the part of our box that we want. Then doing the cards. So the cards are 8 inches by 4 inches, which gives us a 4 by 4 because you score it along on the 4 inch and fold it over. So let me show you on here. Okay, so 8 inches by 4 inches, scored at 4 inches, and there you have your little note card. And what I've then done is a DSP mat, which is 3 3/4 square, and that's going to go just straight on the card base like that. Now I've chosen, because I think that this is a really lovely pack, this is the neutrals. And they're 6 by 6, so they cut down nice and easily. You have bits and pieces over. You have a large spot and a smaller spot, and then you have a large stripe and a smaller stripe. And I quite like the fact that it's got the neutral on, because then the actual picture itself that we're putting on there stands out a little bit more. So we're just going to adhere this down quickly so that we've got that bit finished. And as I say, these are really easy and simple to do. I try and make most of my projects fairly straightforward and simple. So we're just going to line that up so that you just have a 1/4 inch border on there, and that's got your DSP in. Then we are going to cut a out of the stitch shaped framelits. We're going to cut the largest circle out, and that largest circle is going to go in the center like that. So we can glue these down. I put them down with our wet glue because, as you know, that's my absolute favourite, and it's very quick and simple to do. So you can prep all of these at once and do the whole lot, because that's your base basically done. Then we are going to do the little cards that go inside. So I have done, let me have a little look and see where I've put it. Because I did prep some of these beforehand. Here we go. I've just taken let's move this out of the way. I've taken the little Benjamin Peter Rabbit, and you stamp each one of them just in a good black ink on any pieces of scrap of cardstock. I use heavy Whisper White because I find that easier to use. Now the colours for this, his jacket matches perfectly with the Peter Rabbit in the blue, in the dark and the light balmy blue. So you just need to colour this in, and I'm doing the pale first. And as you can see, I do it very lightly. I don't tend to oversaturate it because on some of these smaller images, it's quite easy to get it to bleed, and we don't want it to bleed. So, and because they're alcohol markers, they can do that quite well. So I'm just doing it quite sort of lightly in on here. But the balmy blue is the absolute perfect colour for this. And then we'll just do his little bottom of his jacket. Like this, and I'm going round his buttons because I'm going to have his buttons in the darker. So again, you can see when I get to little tiny pieces, I just tend to just sort of spot it. So I do like little dots, and where it's alcohol, they just sort of blend in together. Then we're going to take the dark, and we're just going to put the dark on his buttons so they show up. And then we're just going to do a little bit of highlighting. So underneath his chin, and again, I'm just doing like little dots. And then we'll do just underneath his little arms there, to just give a bit of a shadow on there. And then just sort of tucked in on this little crease bit there. So that when that dries, that just gives you just a little bit of a shadow. You don't want too much. You just want a little bit to show. So now we need to do him in light and dark crumb cake, says me, looking at the thing. Yes, light crumb cake and dark crumb cake. Okay, so with the light crumb cake, I'm going to do round on his ears. I'm only going to do the top part of his body just to give you an idea on the highlighting. So again, I'm doing it quite lightly because I don't want to saturate it too much. I know with alcohol markers you can do it quite heavily, but because this is quite a small detailed drawing, I don't want it too much. So then we're going to come just down on here, and I'm doing just little sort of stroking lines on here, round underneath, just going around the edges very carefully, and then down round his eye. Down on here, down round his eye on the other side. And if you just sort of draw it round like that, you can leave a little bit of light in there, and that sort of brings his face out. As I say, I'm no expert at this, but these are just sort of little tips and things I've picked up along the way. So we then need to, I'm going to just do the bottom of his ear here, like that. And then I'm going to do just the bottom of his ear like this to just give a little bit of darkness in there. And then just a little bit on the inside of his ear there, and on the inside, so just a very tiny bit, but you can see there it just sort of brings his ears up. So then what you're going to do is you are going to, let's put these back with their lids on, you're just going to very simply fussy cut this out. It's not a very difficult image to do, and what I do is where you go round his little whiskers, just don't go into them too much, just give it a little sort of a sweep. I'll show you one on, here we go, on this one that I did on the front. You can see I haven't cut into it too much, but it looks perfect. So that's our little one. So then we have our card base. We've got the circle in there. Now I've actually done little squirrel nutkin because I needed the second one of that, and just put dimensionals on the back. You can put our standard dimensionals, or you can put our minis, and in some of them, particularly where there's little pieces, So on Peter Rabbit, I put the little dimensionals up on his ears and then the larger ones on his body because that worked fine. And then you're literally just going to put your image in the center like this. There we go. And we've got another one. So that's my completed box. So if you look, as I say, it's a very simple, easy box to put together, but being reinforced, it's nice and sturdy. Just do an image to go on the top. And then we've got 2 of the Squirrel Nutkins. So I've done this one in the Highland Heather, light and dark, and I've done this little guy in the Daffodil Delight, or the flower in the Daffodil Delight. So you've got 2 of those. And then, as I say, Jemima Puddleduck was done in the Balmy Blue again. I've used Balmy Blue for all of the blue parts. And then this one, I think I used the Pink Pirouette, which I think is probably retired now. But any colours that you want that will complement. So those are the 2 Jemima Puddleducks. And then we've got 2 little Peter Rabbits at the bottom. Let's get this little one out because he's right at the bottom. Always have the last one in the box. It's there we go. That's more difficult to get out of. But there's that one. So as you can see, you have a nice array of pretty cards with slightly different backgrounds, but the backgrounds are neutral so that they don't distract from the beautiful images that you've coloured and you've cut out. And as I say, it makes a lovely 2 of each, so you can get 6 quite comfortably within the box. You've then got your little lid to go on, and that will make a nice little Easter present, or just somebody who adores Beatrix Potter. So thank you so much for watching me, and do look forward to seeing you again. Bye bye.